The reason why we're here is to sort of like tell you a little bit about the OSN and how we got to where we are today and how we've realized there's a very important need for collaboration. Now, OSN is 55 years this year. We were formed in 1969, and there were 12 ophthalmologists who formed the OSN. One of them is still alive. He's 95 years old, so we celebrate him all the time. From 12 ophthalmologists, it spread, and now we're between 500 and 700 ophthalmologists, if you count the trainees as well. So we've counted the trainees as well, and we are between 500 and 700. Unfortunately, we don't know how many of those are retired, how many of those are practicing actively in Nigeria, or how many of those are practicing outside Nigeria. And as you know, at least in Nigeria, recently there has been a lot of what we call brain drain. All the professionals are going to countries, Western countries, where they feel they'll make ends meet. Going back to the OSN, we introduced the optometrists into eye care practice as they needed the OSN to start off. And we introduced them to eye care practice. Now there are more optometrists than ophthalmologists in Nigeria. And there are sometimes some issues. Like now, they insist on being called doctors. So if you go to Nigeria and say this is a doctor, you don't know whether it's an ophthalmologist or optometrist. As well as the fact that even in hospital, they demand call duty allowance. Maybe for emergency refraction, we don't know. But they demand call duty allowance. To help us grow, we found the need to have subspecialties. So everybody was encouraged, do your general ophthalmology, but have one subspecialty. So I think in Nigeria now we have 8 subspecialties. You have the glaucoma subspecialty called the Glaucoma Society of Nigeria. You have the vitreoretinal subspecialty called the Vitreoretinal Society of Nigeria. You have oculoplastics. You have pediatrics, that's NIPOS, that's Nigerian Pediatric Ophthalmology and Strabismus Society. You have the smallest one, we have public health. So the smallest one, we have oculoplastics. The smallest one is neuro-ophthalmology. If you go for the meeting of the subspecialty day, there are only 2 or 3 neuro-ophthalmology people interested in Nigeria. Now, if they say your subspecialty is a certain subspecialty, maybe glaucoma, you do not need to have extra certification to start with. They will accept you, and then the younger ones will encourage them to get extra certification. But we found that this was a way to make different specialties grow. And after some time at the OSN meetings, we found out that people go there just for the subspecialty day. The general meeting, they were losing interest. We used to have the subspecialty day the first day of the meeting. You might have 300-400 people there. By the final day, maybe at the dinner, you only have 100 or 150 people there. Because people came for the pre-conference camp where they get surgical exposure. Then they also want to do the subspecialty day. And the interest was lost for most of the general things. So subspecialty there is a very important way of getting people to develop. Now in the teaching hospitals, they told all their consultants, choose a subspecialty so that you can build that department. So I think one thing as I would like you to take away from here is that the subspecialty is very important to the growth of the professional society. The way we also rotate things, each person can hold a term of 2 years, and you can have a second term of 2 years. But after 4 years, you cannot say you are staying on the same term. That way, the younger people will grow into roles, and they will take on responsibility and bring in fresh ideas. After some time, if you've been there for too long, your ideas are no longer fresh. And talking about fresh ideas, I have learned one or two things from you. I loved it when the flags came out yesterday of all the countries, because it gives identity. Because in Africa, we have to identify with each other. We cannot all be dependent on people from other continents. It's good to collaborate within ourselves. I'm not saying we shouldn't collaborate outside, but I'm saying we should not forget your neighbor and start trying to do everything out of the continent. It doesn't work like that. Everybody has their own interest at mind. One thing that we were debating in Nigeria, the debate started more than 10, 15 years ago, is that should we allow everybody to host, or should we just keep it at the main cities? For example, Douala, Yaoundé, all the time. But in Nigeria, we realize everybody wants to host, which is good. But if you host somewhere there is no international airport, your guests will come, they will fly into the international airport, they now have to go by road, or maybe by train, or public transport. And foreign guests didn't like that. They didn't feel safe. So now in Nigeria, we are still deciding. We had decided Lagos, Abuja before, but everybody wanted to host, so we've thrown it open. And it seems to be working, but we don't know which one is best. We will just continue trying things. So I hope I've been able to give you a synopsis of what's been going on in Nigeria. The subspecialties, there is what we call the scientific committee. And the scientific committee, all the subspecialties are part of the scientific committee with one head. So if, for example, you are doing your program, glaucoma will not have the program the same day as retina, the same day as community health. You do your program in advance in case the residents or anybody wants to go to 2 or 3 different things. It shouldn't clash. So we found out the scientific committee was very important as part of the OSN. And part of our EXCO, that's the Executive Council, you have the elected officers, then you have the chairman of the faculty of West Africa, and chairman of the faculty of Nigerian College of Surgeons. So we try and make it a very robust EXCO, and we meet and try and move things forward. And as I said, putting new people in, we get new ideas for the association. So I'd like to end up by thanking the Society Ophthalmologique de Cameroon for inviting us. I pray that we have more collaboration, and I pray that we'll be able to grow ophthalmology not only in our independent countries, but in the whole of Africa. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. President. I think we will not have time for questions. We just give the the floor to Professor Joshua for his presentation.
Bonsoir tout le monde. Don't let me go beyond that. Lest I massacre the language. Good that my president spoke in English. I'd been tasking my brain how I would do the same thing like he did yesterday, speaking in French. A beautiful language, I must admit. I missed mastering it narrowly, but I'm still keen on mastering the language. And I ask, who in West Africa should not understand French? Nobody. We all should be able to speak French, speak in English. And that's the beauty of Cameroon. I would say the only bilingual country in the whole of West Africa. And each time I look at you, I look at Canada, another country that is bilingual. And it is a plus for you. It is a plus for you. Now, if that is the beauty you have, it confers on you a greater responsibility to be able to bring the rest of us together as one body. Because it means that you can fit in anywhere. When the delegation from Cameroon came to Lagos last year, it was a pleasant surprise for me. You can go anywhere. If I go anywhere, I might just be an onlooker, which is not too good. That's by the way. I want to thank the organizers of this conference for the honor granted to us, my president and myself, to be part of this meeting. It's my first time in Cameroon, but I will tell you, it's not going to be my last time. I will want to come back again and again and again. And the truth is this, I'm not playing to the gallery. The hospitality that you have extended to us since we came 2 days ago was just marvelous. I can't ask for more. It shows how large-hearted you are as a people. And I want you to continue in this large-heartedness so that, just like Bob Marley sang, Africa unite, you can take up that gauntlet and unite the rest of us. My job here is very simple. It's to tell you the story of West African College of Surgeons and how you should be involved. You will see a big name in that first paragraph, Dr. Victor Anoma Ungu. Dr. Victor Anoma Ungu was one of the founding fathers of West African College of Surgeons, and he was a Cameroonian, in whose honor the college has even endowed a lecture, Victor Anoma Ungu Lecture, a must attend for everybody at any of our conferences. How then do we explain that fellows of West African College of Surgeons from Cameroon, I can count them on my fingertips, is unacceptable? Worse, even with the ophthalmologists among the surgeons, this is unacceptable. The question is, why is it like that? Are we not marketing ourselves well enough? Or you are disillusioned for 1,001 reasons? Neither of these should be the situation, because the cornea in Nigeria is not different from the one in Douala. It's not different from the one in Burkina Faso. Neither is the retina in the Gambia different from the one you have in Mauritania. It's the same eye. And we are one people. truth is, if we don't come together, nobody from outside this continent will bring us together. Nobody. We are the one that should champion the cause of unity. And that unity can start from education. After all, what brought me here? It's education. And that's a very big unifying factor amongst us. A Dr. Victor Anoma championed the cause of establishing West African College of Surgeons many years ago. And his spirit lives on amongst us as surgeons. The story of West African College of Surgeons is incomplete without mentioning Dr. Victor Anoma. Why would you not be part of us? If lack of understanding of what we do is the reason why you are not involved, this is my story here today. The principal officers of the college include the president, the vice president, the secretary general, assistant secretary general. As a matter of fact, the immediate past vice president 2 of the college, up till about 12 months or 18 months ago, is a Camerounaise. Forgive me, exactly. I admire him greatly. Now, my president said, the election to these offices is every 2 years for the college officials. The faculties also have their elections every 2 years, but the faculty officers, including the faculty board members, they have the opportunity of being re-elected for another 2 years. This is my own 3rd year, haven't served 2 years earlier. So if you are delayed inviting me here till 2026, I will just be coming as an ordinary person, not as a faculty chairman. But what does this really mean? The engine room for the college, they are the faculties. And presently in the college, we have 8 of such faculties, ophthalmology being one of them. Each faculty has a faculty board consisting of 12 members, including the secretary and the chairman. The current faculty board that we have has Dr. Henry Nkube as a member of the board. And I was so happy that he could join us on that board. Dr. Henry Nkube is not just a member of the faculty board, he's also an examiner at the college, which is really exciting to me as a person. Now, the mandate of the college is to train specialists in all strata of surgery, including cataract and anterior segment. That is coming back to ophthalmology now, to train qualified surgeons all over. And the training of would-be surgeon is in 2 phases. Since 2017, the college has metamorphosed from a part 1, part 2 type of exam. We now run a membership and